Welcome to Impacting Jamaica, where we shine the spotlight on the many but often ignored positive happenings, activities, projects and investments at every level across every sector to inspire, motivate and excite people everywhere. Impacting Jamaica is powered by the Philip and Christine Gore Family Foundation, the Jamaica Public Service Company, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited, Red Stripe, Kyramed and Proven Investments Limited.
Welcome to Impacting Jamaica. I am Tamika Gordon and I'm speaking today with Phyllis Thomas, retired Gleaner editor and journalist. When you talk about long service, you're talking about Miss Thomas. Her career in media spanned some 45 years. She has penned her book entitled I Dare You, in which she talks about her life as a journalist and a whole lot more. Miss Phyllis will be sharing a little bit of her story with us today. Thank you so much for joining us, Miss Phyllis.
Thank you for having me, Tamika. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's good to be talking with you.
Thank you. And as I said, it's sort of strange being on the side of the microphone, but here goes.
I can just imagine. Great. So let's begin by talking a little bit about your background, where you're from, what life was like for you growing up. We want to talk about, how you got into the field of journalism, but let's talk about your childhood and how it all began. Where are you from?
Okay, I'm from Kingston, and there are 12 of us in our family. Well, 12 children for my mother and my father. I'm the fifth of 12. I'm the first girl. And we're from a family that were very poor. And when I'm talking about poor, our lifestyle defined poverty in another way. We were very, very poor. And so what God had put people in our lives to help us to get beyond that, because people had to help with food. I remember our neighbors used one plate of food, and that one plate of food was served for the whole of us. There were three of my brothers lived in the country, my mother's and my father's parents. One had died and there was a stillborn, but the others with us, and the one plate of food shared for everybody. So my mother and father would go to bed hungry, and we would get probably about a spoon of something, and that's it. But we know what it was to be hungry. And sometimes we know what it was to also, because of poverty, to share. My mother would get, one ice mint. I don't know, you're young, so you probably don't know ice mint. Ice mint. And she would put the ice mint in a piece, in a paper, pound it up with something, and share that one ice mint. Everybody get a little touch on the tongue. So that is the state of our sort of poverty. But you know what it has done? Poverty is a lesson. And when it teaches you, you're well taught, it's grounded, because we gravitate towards the poor. We learn to satisfy with the little things of life. We don't boast about accomplishment. And the thing is that we have moved out of the poverty, but we don't boast about it. My brother, when he retired, he was the managing director of the water resources. That's Phyllis Thomas. My sister in Florida, she is for several consecutive years voted as the in the top 30 quintile of reading teachers in the entire state of Florida. And for several years, my sister rose on in New York in banking, and as an artist, my brother in New York in the transit sector over there. So we have but guess what? We just keep it. Poverty has helped us. We have gravitated towards the poor. We learn to satisfy, and we want nothing but to see the poor get better. Whatever it is that we have accomplished, we try to help the poor, because as my sister, she has sent 2 children to school, children she didn't even know. She just sent the money here, and from primary school, she took those 2 children. One of them went through primary school, through high school, through university, and 2 years ago, she was called to the bar. Another of her sister, she's what they call it, actor scientist, or what they call it. She has graduated from university in that category as well. And so, we just know that it's the poor, and we're supposed to help the poor, because that is what the Lord put us here to do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of chatting.
Yeah, from humble beginnings.
Yes,
and all of that has kept you humble all this time.
Yes. and we're just giving God. I always say to God be the glory. I can't say anything else. I have to give him the glory, because when I think where we're coming from, Tamika, if you see those shoes that we used to wear, our shoes is just the top alone, they call it the uppers, the sole gone. We had to put cardboard inside of it, and those cardboard not lasting long because them wear out too, and so your foot on them, the sort of concrete. Oh my God! Oh my God! So that is it. That's it.
How do you think that your childhood influenced your decision to become a journalist?
Okay, at one point I didn't think that it influenced it, but because it's so strategic. I wanted to become a doctor. My brother wanted to become a doctor. But I went to Trenchtown Comprehensive, and some of the subjects that we were given there, and because of the poverty, my mother and father couldn't afford to give us the books, the uniform, let alone food to eat. So we just went there. And we went to I went to Trenchtown. My brother went to KC. The books that my brother he's 1 year older than I am. The books that he went through, if I could use them, I would get them. There's a dissecting set that he used in zoology because I wanted to go in medicine and see myself as a doctor, as a surgeon, going into people and making people well. Oh my gosh, I was just so fascinated, and still I'm fascinated with the working of the human body from the time you put that food into that mouth and you chew it until it goes through your body and part of it is voided, as feces, the whole working of the blood and everything. I was just so fascinated and wanted to be a doctor. But then that wasn't going to happen. God had other plans for me. And so when I went to extramural department to do my zoology and stuff like that, and try to get other subjects too, because at Trenchtown is just a few subjects, and to get the other subjects to matriculate in the university. So Gleaner now was just to me a sort of stopgap. I was just coming to Gleaner.
A stopgap that lasted for 45 years.
For 45 years. That's why I'm telling you that God is strategic, because even the school that I went into played a role. And as I said, poverty played a role, but the school also, because at school, we were asked to choose the subjects that we wanted to go into. So I chose the science subjects, still in the back of my mind, medicine, but we were also to choose from those technical subjects, so you call them technical, what you call those kind of subjects. So I chose dressmaking because I love fashion. My mother used to sew whatever material she can get and sew our stuff. Right? And the guys at school would choose like woodwork, metalwork, along with the other subjects that they need. So I chose dressmaking, and I was, I think, good enough at it because my graduation dress was made by me and my teacher. And this dressmaking thing that I went into was going to help me to do one of the biggest investigative journalism thing that I have done. Really? Yes, you will see later that when I entered the free zone to do that investigative piece, I suppose when you ask me a question, I'll get into it. I don't know if you want me to talk about that now.
Go ahead. That's an interesting point.
Yeah. So that dressmaking thing that I learned as a journalist at the Gleaner, the free zone was quite lucrative in Jamaica. I think Prime Minister was Edward Seaga at the time, and the apparel sector was like lucrative, booming like crazy. And so all of these companies from the United States and those other foreign places, they're outsourcing their garments to be done in Jamaica. So they would send parts of it, and then the Jamaican women would work in these places, putting them together, and some of those sporting garments and stuff that you see out there, they were actually done in Jamaica, and so it was good. But then the women were complaining. The women had so much problem, and the women complained, nobody not paying them any mind. Eventually, we tried to get the story done. Try to get the interviews and stuff, nobody not hearing us. But the women's complaints were loud. And so the government went inside of the free zone. I think there's a Minister of Labour with an entourage of people on camera and talking. So I went on that assignment too. and talking to the ladies, and they say, "Oh, everything is fine." You know, they're going to say that. They're not going to say anything is bad before yeah. So everything is fine. So everything is just whitewashed and well manicured, and left it. But the women complained just the same, and it was my son's father. My son's father was a journalist at the cleaner, and he said to me, "Why don't you go inside of the free zone and work and see what is happening there?" And I said, "What? You look ahead?" So yeah, you can sew. So incidentally, you can sew. The clothes I was wearing to the cleaner, I was making them for myself, even my very jeans, because I was fashion conscious, still love fashion. I call myself a fashionista. So I love to dress up and love to look good. He said, "Go, you can sew." All right, I said, "All right, let's do it." I went to Lloyd Williams, who was my editor, and he was quite fascinated. He said, "Yes." So I went and I applied for job in one of the factories. My application called for me to be doing some sewing in front of the people. They asked me to do something called a bounded buttonhole. I can't even explain it now, because it's not it's a technical.
It's a technique, right?
Right, looking very, very good, right? And when I did it, the lady said, "You sure you're not working? You sure you're not? You never used to work in the dressmaking before?" I said, "No, I was a barmaid." She was lying still. And she said, "Well, you are so good. We want you to start working." And they took me on to work the following night. And I went inside of the free zone. Well, Mr. Williams was a part of the whole thing with me, because Mr. Williams would take me to work. He would drop me partly because you're not supposed to see
you, right?
And the thing that people inside of the free zone were persons from the inner city, and so you dress a particular kind of way, and I tried to dress like them, right? And he would drop me, and I would walk up and get inside there, and I started working, and I observed what was happening inside of the free zone. I worked for three nights because I was working night shift. I couldn't take it any longer because my back started to rebel. And the woman, I observed a lot of stuff happening there, the bad treatment, but also the fact that the women were thieves, because although they would search us and treat us away, them still managed to thief out the people and things. And so the dressmaking course that I started at school helped me. That free zone story that I did, it created a whole lot of stir in the country. A whole lot of stir in the country. And it was so big to the extent that the University of the West Indies used it at Karamak. And they said it's a good teaching tool, and it's a tool that can be used in unobtrusive research. And so every year you go, people talking about this groundbreaking thing.
In fact, that was done.
Yes, and I got an award from the PAJ for it, but I gave back the PAJ the award. I gave it back to them because I thought that I should have gotten the award for Investigative Journalist of the Year. And they gave me what's called honorable mention.
Yes.
It was my pride.
pride. I hear the passion coming out, and one of the reasons why I told you it was okay to just go into the stories, because my other question was what was one of the stories that impacted you and why? And I your answer, your story about this free zone situation truly responded to that question.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was the role that you loved the best? Which one of your roles, journalist or editor, and why?
Journalist. Well, I prefer being a reporter, because an editor is a journalist as well. So I prefer being a reporter because out there, I was making a difference to people's lives. As an editor, I was just reading over people's story and, doing that. You're trying to make the story good for the readers outside there. But as a reporter, I was out there making a difference to people. I was out there ensuring that truth be told. I was out there keeping big politicians and big
on their toes.
So I prefer that. And you know what I like too? I like whenever the news, there's a breaking news, and I'm at the center of it, not because of me, but to be there. There's this adrenaline rush.
Yes.
And I just love that. And but most of all, I liked when I go into the rural areas, and then you see, I don't like the human suffering, but I like when I'm able to air it, when I'm able to give life to it, so that people can come and help them and change their life. And I've done that on occasions.
Indeed, you have. The climate of journalism now, with the advent of social media and all of that, what do you think of it in terms of what the fraternity, what the industry is now? And, what are your thoughts on what you think modern journalism should be?
Okay, so journalism as it is now, I find it worrying. I don't like the trajectory it's taking. And why? Especially because of social media, truth is fluid. And it's my truth. And it's what I say. That's when they can go out there and just libel people on social media, and no big thing. And everybody a reporter. It's not that. The thing is that when I went into media, I wasn't trained. I was 20. I left high school at 19. And I went into the Gleaner at 20. But what the Gleaner used to do, the Gleaner used to have persons come down with a big hall, the entire section they called paste up, and the whole of the IT section, the whole of the was a big hall, and they had the reporters, the star reporters, the Gleaner reporters, and that persons come in the very English. We had to do English. You had people from the CPU, the Caribbean Press Union, used to come in and tell us about investigative journalism, tell us about feature writing, how to get the best things done, and you use your words are like, it's like a painting, the paintbrush, and you can use your words. You can make your words talk, and you can make your words cry, and you can make your words sing, and they teach you how to do those kind of things. That happened at the Gleaner while we were still out there, and we were supposed to go outside there. When I just went there, we never have seats. We were supposed to be out there finding the news, and we never get bylines. We had to earn the bylines. And so I think that journalism now is just all about is a fluff. Some, not all, some, because I admire people like, you see, Jovan Johnson, and they are going out there to establish truth. They are the truth tellers outside there, and that is the route. That is the route that we need to take. And also, take yourself out of the story. The journalist needs to take herself out of the story, because we're not important. It's not about us. If we are writing an opinion piece, that is different. But now I see a blurring of the lines. If it's a news story or it's an opinion piece, I am not sure, because I see you, the reporter is telling me about what they think. I don't want to know what I'm thinking in a regular news story. I want to know, you set down the facts and let me decide. Don't tell me what you think. And it's not old-fashioned. It's not old-fashioned. It's not that journalism has morphed. It's just the way you do it. You give me a chance to decide on what it's all about.
Form my own opinion based on the facts that you've presented. Yes. We're taking a break now to hear from our sponsors.
Searching for a one-stop solution to all your facilities maintenance needs? Visit Manpower Maintenance Services Sales and Distribution Center. We stock a wide range of COVID-19 washroom cleaning and other supplies, gardening tools, chemicals, and more. Our experts are always ready to give you the best advice. Manpower Maintenance Services Sales and Distribution Center, 14 Collins Green Avenue, Kingston, Freeport Commercial Center, Montego Bay, and 33 Ward Avenue, Mandeville. Visit or call us today, 876-920-47215.
Manpower, come and see what we do.
John, me know you in there. Me want know when lights Edita come back. I know Pinky this time. Akeisha.
Keisha, just like me tell Pinky, give JPS your number and then we'll send your text with them things here. So you can stop, knock me door.
What you mean?
DM or call JPS and tell them to add your phone number to your account and you will know everything all the time.
You never ask. Send your current contact information and always be in the know. Visit jpsco.com for more info.
Thank you for staying with us. We are speaking with Phyllis Thomas, a journalist, retired journalist, who had 45 years in the field, and she's sharing with us her story. Miss Phyllis, I want to turn now to your book that you have written. Tell us about I Dare You.
Okay, so first of all, the topic, I Dare You. I chose the topic, I Dare You, because to me, I see it as an in-your-face sort of response to the circumstances that threaten to derail me or try to derail me from childhood come up. And I see that the book is a sort of triumph, gone through everything, sorry, and succeeding. And the book is also, I can't help, I have to do it. I have to give glory to God, because if it wasn't for him, I couldn't have done it. I couldn't do it on my own. So the book is all about that. It's all about, it's talking about my childhood experience. The first chapter talks about my growing up and then my experience in journalism. It talks about even the same social media. It talks about the Gleaner where I worked for 45 years. In fact, for the entire 45 years of work there, only 2 months that I went to Amsterdam. It's what you call that place? Interpress service. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's the University of the West Indies. Sent me there. Well, I taught the print class when I did a diploma course there, and I taught the print class, and they sent me there for 2 months. And those 2 months I worked at the Interpress service in Amsterdam. So my entire working life has been at the Gleaner. And what was I talking? I was addressing
with the title of the book, I Dare You.
Yes, so that's
you were saying why you chose that title.
And so the title that is that, but the second part of the title is subtitle. I have a friend called Jenny Campbell. I used to terrorize poor Jenny from the office, because even when she's home, and at the Gleaner, I know that I can write, but I can never write a good headline. And when Jenny gone home, she may call and ask her when it's I'm closing editor, I'm gonna find the headline for the stories. Or Andre Wright, those two people, and some at them, I can never write a good headline. I remember one headline that I wrote that was good. It was long ago when Mrs. Gludan was my editor, and we had to write a little slug on the paper that we typed the story on, just to give the editor an idea of what was the story, what the story was about. And it was the time when Michael Manley passed this thing about the Bastard Act, or what they call it, no more bastard. And I wrote in my for my slug, no more bastard. And Mrs. Kruger looked at it and said, yes. And the headline is, that was the headline for the Star, big headline, no more bastards. And so I depended on Jenny so much. So this book now, when I could not find the subtitle for the book, I tried my sisters, because they helped me, got a lot of help. My sisters, Maureen and Roseanne, and my friend, Yvonne Nichols, because she's one of those why I write the book. She was at me, write this book. And my brother Lascelles, write this book, she would say, and because she saw in me something that I could do it. So the title or the subtitle, I could not come up with something. I said, Jenny, what do you think? And she gave me something, Push to the Pinnacle of Journalism. So we took it, and I had it, and my son would look at it and say, Mommy, that's a problem. There's a problem with the word push. Because if you say push to the Pinnacle of Journalism, people might not to understand it. And if you say pushed, it would suggest, it would look at it, they push you, you're reluctant, and you're being pushed. So the word push is a problem. So myself and Maureen, my sister now, took it, and we were there looking at it, and they would say, yes, a climb climb, because I dare you, and I dare you this climb to the pinnacle of journalism. And that is how we got the title. Now the book itself, I got a lot of help. I don't know, I keep on saying God good. I don't know if you're tired to hear me saying that. People are tired. But even if they're tired, I got to say it because I'm seeing a lot of people in my life to help. You know that my friend Yvonne put me onto this Dr. Newton. Dr. Newton is a graduate from Princeton University and from Harvard University. And Dr. Newton, I don't know him from Adam, but Dr. Newton took me under his wings. He said that he feels the Lord told him that he's supposed to help me. And he caused me to write the last chapter in the book, telling me, he said, now Phyllis, I want you to go and write that last chapter. You are going to be talking to emerging journalists, and you're going to be telling them what it is. You're going to be giving them best practice. You're going to be telling them, giving them hints as to how to move forward in journalism and the hurdles and how to overcome it. And you are going to be updating your book, because remember that you have put out the book for about a year and things have happened. So you're going to use that chapter to update the book, and you're going, and he was with me, and he would call and say, you reached such and such, have you done such and such? And he was at me, and I'm saying, thank you. I have to say thank you to Dr. Newton.
Indeed.
Yes.
So when is the book coming out, and where can we get it?
Okay, so the book is on Amazon. Incidentally, the Kindle version, the ebook, was released on my birthday, March 12, on Amazon. The printed copy, where in fact I have a proof of the printed copy. That's coming out for the it will be ready for my official launch, which will be on the 30th of April, right? But
where will the launch be? Is it virtual or physical?
No, it's physical. It's going to be at the Stock Exchange building
on April 30.
Yes, at 4 o'clock.
4 p.m. I dare you, climb to the Pinnacle of Journalism, book launch, April 30, Jamaica Stock Exchange downtown at 4 p.m.
Yes.
Indeed. What do you see, Miss Phyllis, as, if you have any, your biggest regrets?
Before I get there, can I tell you one thing else about the book?
Yes, go ahead.
So the book was released Amazon the Friday. My birthday is Sunday. It was released Friday, and by Monday morning, my book hit the bestsellers list on Amazon in 3 different categories.
Wow!
And in one of the categories, it was at number 3 out of 100. So
that is great news.
Yeah. So in one category, it was like 80 something out of 100. The next category was 9, and in one category, it was number 3. And again,
this being your first book.
Yes. And I'm saying thanks to Ruth Taylor from Bamboo Sparks. That lady is something else. She herself is a bestseller with several books out, and she is just so good. She had me every step of the way as well. She is just a godsend.
Yes, great. So and overwhelming accomplishment, Miss Phyllis. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. So I was asking, in all of your in your sojourn and in your life as a journalist, was there anything that you would consider to be your biggest regrets, and why?
Yeah. I don't like to talk about regrets, because I prefer to talk about
challenge.
The happy parts of.
Okay, so yes, I was planning to ask as well. What's your biggest win or accomplishment?
Well, as I said, working for people, because that's what I was put there to do, to work for people. And you know what, Tamika, when a reader or readers would call me and say thank you, when persons with whom I work, like reporters who I supervise, when they come and say, Mr. Thomas, thank you. You didn't shout, you were just calm, but you were effective. Thank you. When reporters leave when they're no longer in the profession and they go into other professions which have them writing, and they now have to supervise persons and to look at their things like they would be in in PR. And I used to say, trim the fat. The reporter would come back and say, I know, I understand what you're talking about when you say trim the fat, and when you say that the stories are not complete if there are questions left unanswered in the story. No, I understand. And you know, when these sort of feedback come to me, when they come to me, no kind of money can replace that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling that I'm just satisfied, and I'm thankful. The regret is that you know, everywhere you work, you're going to have ups and downs, and the regret is not going where I want it to be, not to be editor, because I was offered once to be the editor of the Sunday Cleaner, but no, Phyllis can't take them kind of something because I was news editor for the Sunday Cleaner, and I worked as editor for the Sunday Cleaner when God Williams was editing, had gone off on some leave thing. And I said, no, but I wanted to be, I wanted to be like associate editor. You know, when I retired, I was the enterprise editor. So I wanted to be, but that's not really a regret as such. I don't really.
Because you did make an impact in several other roles.
So that's why I think I can't really talk about regret.
But let's talk a bit about how you were able to balance personal life, family life, with the demands of the job for so many years, because people often say that journalism is high stress and very demanding. How did you manage to balance all of that?
Yeah, it was a bit difficult because I had my son, and I was going to school. I was on my own, and then as an editor at that point, now I'm no longer a reporter. So sometimes you go out on reporting, but it's mostly editing at this point. And I had to really do a balancing act, you know, is what I call it. What is the sport?
Work-life balance?
No, man, the sport where when they go on the board and them spinning over and doing all the acrobat.
Oh,
I have to be an acrobat in journalism to get things done, and to have my son going to school and all of that. Like when I'm at work, I would leave work and go to university, and my son, I would have the neighbors take care of him until I get home, and that wasn't pleasant. That really wasn't pleasant. And maybe I feel some sort of guilt where that is concerned, but I just had to do it. And when I was at work too, the going to school, that posed a threat.
Yes, because you were studying while you were working.
Yes.
You did diploma courses and so.
Yes, I did the diploma course first, right? And after that, I was matriculated for the degree course, right? So when I applied for time to do the studies and stuff, I got the time, but there were a lot of conditions, and my leave and stuff like that were impacted. And I went to university, and another sort of help that I get, Garfield Grandison. You know that Garfield, when the work over, you have to go to university, you have to do your tutorials. You can't not there. And Garfield would just sit in my place. He said, PT, call me, PT, go on. And Garfield sit down in my desk and allow me to go under the tutorials, you know. If it was for him, and people would like taking notes for me. And I'm just saying, thanks, Gigi. Thanks again. Thanks for what you've done.
I hear in your story, Miss Phyllis, the fact that you had a village. You had people in your corner. The Lord strategically placed people around you that would help to get you to where you needed to be and where He wanted you to be.
And you are so right. And you're so right. And you know what is that university? You know why I feel so good about it? With all the challenges, I just say to balance the work. Sometimes with my son, I would take him to an assignment with me. I'm not supposed to do it, but we take him an assignment with me, right? But at the end of it, I got first class honors for my communication thing that I did at UA. And so it is an accomplishment because of all that I had to go through. And I feel good about it. I really, really feel good about it.
Right. So we were talking about those that, the Lord has strategically placed in your corner to help you along the way. And we were talking about the people that helped you along with your book.
Yes. And I've already told about people like Jenny, my sisters, Rosanne and Maureen, Yvonne and Lascelles, my brother, and Taylor, Ruth Taylor, my publisher, and Dr. Isaac Newton. But I've also Lolita Tracy Long, a very, very good friend. She was the editor in charge of design at the Gleaner. When she left the Gleaner, she went to they sent her to New York to head the New York office. She's in another occupation now. She's in another position in New York. No, she's in, I think it's Texas that she's in now. But she gave me so much help. In fact, she's the editor of the book. She's the person who edited the book. And she was in my back. She called me that M word, I'm not going to use it, my name. And she said, you, how far are you with the book? Where are you with the book? And every day she's at me. And so I have to give her thanks as well, my dear friend Tracy. Thank you so much. Thanks to all of you.
That's a wonderful note on which to end our conversation. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Miss Phyllis Thomas.
Thanks.
It was my pleasure speaking with you.
Yes, Tamika, thank you so much. I've enjoyed the discussion. God bless you.
Thank you, and same to you.
Impacting Jamaica is powered by the Philip and Christine Gore Family Foundation, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited, the Jamaica Public Service Company, Red Stripe, Kyramed, and Proven Investments Limited. If you or anyone you know is involved with projects and activities that excite, motivate, and encourage, send us an email to impactingjamaica@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Do join us again for another in the series on Google Podcast, Audible, Spotify, Podcast Addict, and Stitcher. You can also visit us at impactingjamaica.com.